People, so I got a question that I not a hard question for me to answer. It's just a complicated question to answer, if I can say that. One of the things that I think people don't get about what BDSM truly is one simple idea, and that is what works for you and the people you're with. That's it. It's what, here's the things that you want, and is the people, or are the people in your life comfortable with that? If the answer is yes, then any set of dynamics that you create will work. But as soon as one person in that dynamic is now no longer comfortable with that dynamic, the whole dynamic will fall apart. So the basic question was, masters can have other slaves, but can slaves have other masters? And the answer is yes. I've had this situation where I've had a slave that has had another master, and I've had slaves that have had other doms. I've had situations where I've had girls of mine play with other doms and call them sir. All of this was perfectly fine. It was, what was I comfortable with? Was I comfortable with this? Currently, one of my girls has two other doms that she plays with on a regular basis, and calls them sir, and I have no issue with that. They know I exist. They know I'm her master, and they understand that. They understand that I have rules and regulations and guidelines of things they can and cannot do, and that's fine. And as long as they stay within those rules and guidelines, I'm totally comfortable with it. It is not as simple as this is a one road, one direction, this is how it is situation. That's not how this ever works. It's what works for you and the people you are with. Whether that's one person, 2, 3, 5, 10, 20, whatever the situation is, and whatever the dynamic is that you've got, as long as everybody in the dynamic is comfortable, then it works. It is not a hard thing to figure out. Unfortunately, we have this, again, preconceived notion of this is what a master-slave dynamic is. This is what a dom-sub dynamic is. This is what a mistress-slave dynamic is. This is what blah, blah, blah. Put in your favorite adjective. Put in your favorite verb. Put in your favorite noun. Put in whatever you want. Okay? The bottom line is that, if person A and person B are happy that person C is involved, and person A and person B and person C can all be comfortable in that dynamic, then there is no issue. Whether that's a husband and wife with a third who has absolutely nothing to do with the husband, but yet is only with the wife, or a husband who has not only his wife but has a lover on the side, whether that's a dom that has a girl and that girl also has another dom that she plays with, even though he is the primary dom. Even if there's, it's one girl who has 3 different doms that she plays with, but, none of them are the primary. I could sit here and go through 50,000 different versions of what could work. There is no one set standard. It's what works for you and the person you are with, period. There is no right and wrong in this situation. It's what makes you happy. And that's really all this should come down to, is if whatever it is you are doing is making you happy, do it more. If whatever it is you are doing is not making you happy, do it less. Really, that's all it comes down to. If you're in a situation where you're not really happy with your dom, but you really love and care for them, but you think you want to do more, and he is comfortable with the idea of you playing with others, then do it. Same thing if you're a master and you feel you need more, and then and you want to have another girl in your life, and your primary girl is comfortable with that idea, then do it. There is no wrong here. As long as everybody is consenting adults, nothing is wrong. You could have situations that, I could sit here and go through 50,000 versions of types of relationships, and guess what? As long as everybody in the situation is comfortable with it, none of it matters. It's what works for those people. And as long as everybody's being upfront, everybody's being honest, everybody's telling the truth, then there's no issues. But the second that you start having to lie, then there's going to be issues. And sometimes they work out to be a benefit. Sometimes they work out to be a deficit. But you have to be willing to take the consequences no matter what it is. And you're talking to somebody who has been the other guy. Okay? The guy who, has been with women who were married and didn't want to tell their husbands. I've been that guy. And I understand that, a lot of, people going, but you said, I'm not a moralist. Okay? I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Okay? Free pussy is free pussy. I don't care if that pussy has a ring on it, or if that, or if it's just, a horny little college girl. It's free. I'm going to take it. That's just me. Hey, if you don't like that, sorry. But that's just the reality of the situation. I understand it's what works for me and what works for the other person. Now, what the situation between her and the other person she's with, that is between them, not between me and them. And the thing about it is that yes, that gets into a bunch of gray area, but the bottom line is, it doesn't matter what the scenario is, as long as you and the person you are doing it with is happy, then that's all that matters. If somebody else outside of that scenario gets involved, that's between them and that person and not you. And yeah, that might sound like justification to some people, but to me, that's just the simple reality. That's just the way it works. I've been with plenty of married women. I've been in relationships where I've had slaves that have had other masters that were either they had a master before I came in, or they had a master, or they gained a master after I had already been in a relationship with them. There is no set standard of this is the prototypical style relationship, and this is what you should do because it works 100% of the time. That's not the way it works. It's what works for you and the people you are with. If everybody in the situation is happy, that's all that matters. And that's really what it comes down to. I don't think it has to be any more than that. So, check out the links in the description. If you can support me on my Patreon thing, please do. I know I'm not going to say that a lot, but if you can, it'd be awesome. If you have anything you want to ask me, send me questions here. Send me questions over on FetLife, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. So, that's it for now. Be well and safe.